I could see how actively people are discussing about it. So hope all of us are back to the meeting room now. Okay, so now we will discuss what we were all been independently doing in a smaller groups. So okay, any group wanted to volunteer first to share your thought process about how you wanted to bring that particular change of ISO 9001. So any group who is ready to share your uh, thoughts, how do you wanted to bring this change, implement this change? There are challenges listed down in the case. Okay, any group wanted to volunteer? So I believe all of you would have discussed in your group. So if anyone want to volunteer, any group wanted to volunteer, or should I call from the rooms, whichever the room you were from? Okay, so any group wanted to volunteer first, and then yeah, please.
I'm sorry, I wasn't there for 2 minutes. I had to just go out and come. So
Oh, fine.
I didn't know what you were asking.
So. Okay, so I was just started that we are all back to the main room now. So just since you are all discussed in a smaller groups, any one group wanted to respond to that particular question that I said that you are being a principal or HOD or the senior faculty, how would you address these challenges and how do you implement this change in your institution?
Yes, sir. I would like to
please,
start.
please
If no one else is willing to, can I?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. So you're representing your group, right?
Yes, I'm not. I wouldn't say if no one else is willing to. No one else is going to start now. I'll start it because all of them would be waiting.
Yeah, please.
So, according to the question which you asked, the first one would be acceptance of the faculty. So what I would like to say here, making the as I would take my stand as a coordinator of that particular senior faculty. Okay. So. What I would like to tell you is, I felt there's no question of acceptance of the faculty. The question of acceptance would be like whether you will be taken, not whether the accreditation process has to be taken. It is already taken because it is a management decision, it is a college decision. Acceptance at the faculty level where you have to accept that you are assigned a work and you have to take up that work apart from your regular routine work. You just cannot say, no, this is my class time, this is my that time. You have to accommodate, you have to adjust and take up.
How do you do it? How do you do it?
How do you do it in the sense? Apart from
let's you are saying that apart from my regular academic duties, responsibility, you have to support this, right? So how would you pass this information to them? Yeah.
See, sir, this taking up an additional responsibility is being part and parcel of all the teaching fraternity, be it in school or college. It's not just that I go take class, give marks and come back. The administrative work is also 30 to 40% work also has to be done by individual faculty. So I have to adjust and accommodate I cannot skip my regular classes for that. I cannot skip my marking or my grading work for that. I have to complete that, find time for both. As one of the speakers said this morning, it is not finding a balance, work-life balance. It is like trying to find a balance in what all you do. So I have to balance whatever work I take up. And the second one was identifying the proper person committee, or the team, the committee, right? So there again, we'll have to make a person who is really aware, who has got hands-on experience on that. And that person should be able to translate the nature of work, the amount of work involved, the time involved, everything should be explained in a very perfect way to the entire team members. So we'll have to appoint one such person who has got that kind of caliber. Maybe others might be taking, maybe that they might feel it's a setback for them. They might be feeling, oh, why she, why he? But still, the person who really has a potential has to be identified for that particular work. So committee member should be really sharp and shrewd enough who is not going to, it's going to be highly professional, who doesn't post his so her attitude there stating that later this work would be done by, was done by me and all that. Without those demarcations, work has to be, a person has to be identified. So should I proceed, sir?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you complete the first one, then the rest of the group will see. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have 1 minute. I'll just go
Okay,
back
so-
to the third one.
Yeah.
So the third one is implementation of this accreditation program. So the implementation here again, as I told you, after identifying the team members, after making the faculty members accept what is to be done, and after identifying the exact committee members and the team members, how the work has to be implemented. For example, any accreditation process, there will be a core team that is at the college level. And at the various department levels, there'll be sub teams. Yes.
Okay.
So this core team at the university level or the college level, they'll have to address the department level people in a very appropriate way. They have to make them understand of what is expected on the whole. It is not just an English department's work or a chemistry department's work. It is the university or the college work as a whole. So what is their expectation for this accreditation process? That has to be clearly set across or explained to the people in the sub teams. So that only there comes the implementation. That is how implementation can be done. And understanding should be at all levels at the same frequency. It's not that my understanding level is different, your understanding is different. It has to be in the same frequency. That is very, very important. Only then the expected output, college as a whole, will come out. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult.
Okay, great. So I put like, core team translate into the sub level with the awareness creation, right? That's what you are essentially trying to say. Okay, great.
Yes. And then the documentation work. Documentation plays a very vital role in any kind of accreditation because it is not just one department having one paper. If there are 40 faculty members in a department, papers have to be pulled from all the 40 people and it has to be synchronized. Okay, so which particular team is going to give what kind of paper? Which particular team is going to give what kind of paper? Yes, if I'm having 4 or 5 assessment papers, so all that assessment papers has to be first collected. So on what basis are we going to collect? Who is going to give what? That kind of work has to be properly planned and executed. And then this has to be a record. Record here is not just assessment or paper or the syllabus. Record here the department activities. Yes, what the department is doing other than taking classes. Maybe we might be conducting a faculty workshop or a seminar or whatever. We might be having our own budget. Yes, all that has to be, we might be having a lab, we might be procuring things. Yes, we might be inviting faculty members, guest faculty. So all that would be involved when it comes to maintaining a record. So record keeping. Yes, so we'll have to identify people who identify a separate team. And for that, again, this will not be done just within 2 or 3 days. This is all accumulated work. For the past years, what have we been doing? All that has to be kept as a record, where again, a big team is involved. And then we have, again, this is at the department level. So as I told you before, the core team, they have to tell us what is expected in the department level. This has to be combined with the university level and then projected when the team comes. And then when you take in the change in the organization structure and system, if we are going in for a new accreditation, we have to expect or we have to frame a structure which they want us to have. If I'm going in for a new one, if I'm going to just update my existing accreditation, I have to work according to that. So let me imagine that I'm working according to the existing one. So here the organizational structure will not demand that much of change. So maybe I can talk about the team members here, because for this, the principal or the HOD, he might be the head of that particular team. But the team members who are working, there might be a revamp. So in that, I feel the structure, there might be a change. So that also has to be properly identified. And the next one is resistance to change. This I club with acceptance and with the selection of committee members, because that itself, this can be included. What kind of people we have selected and how, what kind of acceptance you give to the people, all that will be decided in this resistance itself. So I combine these two there. And the next one is formalization of syllabus. As I told you for the third point, last but third point, change in organization structure. The syllabus or the assessment scheme or the grading pattern has to be done, because we are being, if it is for an existing accreditation where we are going to upgrade it, we have to show them the proof of what we are doing all these years. we are going in
Okay.
for a new accreditation, we have to frame the syllabus. For example, if it is NEP 2020, our syllabus, our assessment scheme, our grading, everything would differ. So we'll have to plan accordingly. For all this,
Okay.
we have to deploy a separate effective team who's going to concentrate on, because we are talking about outcome-based education. So
Yeah.
this has to be really sought out with different perspectives in mind. So this is what we are discussing in our team.
Okay, great. Thank you. So yeah, so the very comprehensive, good work. So you're talking about administrative responsibility and choosing a member who are qualified, active, and who show enthusiasm. And then you're also talking about translating from a core team to a creation of sub-level teams and awareness creation about why this accreditation, what. Then you're also talking about creation of a structure and system, so that you'll be talking about how the documentation is not just about the papers or as such. It's about how do you create a system in place and you develop a repository. How do you store? Who will be responsible? Then you also said you'll be relating the acceptance and awareness with respect to the handling this resistance. That's how you have said. So good one. So okay, any other team who are willing to share your perspective? So other teams, yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Actually, I don't know which room I belongs, but Sinkesa was there, and you are also there.
So you are belonging to room number 1. Yeah.
Fine. So actually, we have discussed this matter, and first, the challenges as a senior faculty. These are all very good points to be addressed whenever we are bringing in some kind of accreditation or some kind of changes to the system. So the need and scope of this accreditation purpose has to be, the faculty members has to be given proper awareness about the need and scope of this particular accreditation. So what is the need, and if we are doing this accreditation, what would be the scope of this our institute for the coming years? All this has to be informed to the faculty members. That is the first and foremost point. And second is selection core committee members. The core committee is the institute level committee, which has to frame the guidelines for the documentation, formatting, and what are all proofs needs to be prepared. All these has to be framed at the core committee level, and that has to be given to the subcommittees at the department level. And in addition to that, we need to have an internal audit committee as well, so as to verify that things are going in the right direction or not. So
okay, how do you just sorry to interrupt now, how do you choose this member? Maybe sometime there will be some say I want to be, some say I not want to be, somebody wants to be a leader, somebody do not want to be the seniority. So those are little challenges when you create some committees in institutions, right? So how will you address this challenge? Maybe any thought on that?
Yeah, not much, but senior members, like as far as possible, senior members will have to be given this charge of this core committee and subcommittee.
Okay.
To the extent possible.
Okay, great. Yeah,
and,
go.
Regarding documentation, record keeping, and all, like when it comes to the implementation level, if possible, many faculties are spending a lot of time for this documentation for their institute. But if some softwares or some other external help, if they can provide for this documentation and record keeping, that is that we need to consider. Because the lot of time for the teaching and other research activities, like we can save. I mean, the documentation per time, like we can.
Yeah, I understood. Yeah, excellent point. Yes.
Right. Regarding the change in the organizational culture and the system and resistance to change, that is everywhere. So periodic meeting and multiple meetings with the team members, that is the only solution by which we can change the organizational culture and resistance to this particular change. So making them aware of what is the real need for the particular accreditation or particular change.
Okay, excellent.
Then formalization of syllabus assessment and grading part, like we need to have some uniformity in the whole assessment and in the institute level. So we need to have a uniform structure for the assessment as well as the grading, as well as the formalization of the syllabus, maybe in the curriculum part. So you need to have some kind kind of uniformity and standardization. So that also has to be addressed. These are all the points that we have mainly noted relating to these.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for that inputs. Where you're talking about so need and scope, how this accreditation should be clearly communicated. That will actually get support from the faculty members. Unless otherwise, you do not state about why we should go for it, what is the scope of going for this change. Unless otherwise that is not clearly communicated, probably you will not have support from the most of the faculty members. Excellent point. Yeah, great. So then you're also talking about external support for documentation. Yes, it is sensible. Unless otherwise, there are a lot of human resource support required, or maybe the time required to create the documentation or maintaining the documents. As you say, rightly said, people have teaching load as well. So rightly balancing with some external support, excellent way to handle these challenges. Okay, any other team wanted to share your perspective? Any other team?
Hello, I would
Yeah,
like
please.
to share my views in brief.
Yeah,
I was in room number 9.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there could not be any internal discussion.
Okay.
However, the first point is dissemination of information. Unless the members are convinced that they are going to get some benefits out of ISO 9001, they won't be interested in it. So sharing the benefits to all the faculty members will be the prime concern. Secondly, selecting the faculty members, those who are interested in the field, not just out of their seniority. I would like to select them, but I would select according to their interest in the relevant field, as well as if they have any background knowledge in the field, the preference will be given to that also. Then listing of important work and assigning it to different group members. That will be one activity. Exploring what kinds of documents are required and what formats would be suitable for maintaining records. That will have to be decided. So designing formats and procedure for record keeping will have to decide it. Then one important point I would like to include is making a SWOT analysis of the institute. And taking steps accordingly to eliminate if there are any weaknesses or errors anywhere, and thereafter persuading people to accept changes. Then reframing the syllabus to meet the requirements of ISO 9001, as it will be the final.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for your critical inputs. Okay, let me put this way. Okay, great. So some of the very interesting point, maybe what I could see in most of the people are, very clear about, I think, when I hear from 3 teams, so rightly, everybody is talking about awareness. And if you look at, people, how they distinguish in awareness, sense of, somebody is talking about, say the need and scope, and here he was talking about the benefits. So this is actually indicating that, okay, how do I make my stakeholders, now if you take the faculty in this given situation is the faculty member. If you look at this awareness creations or this activity of, acceptance from all the stakeholders, you can actually list down what is the need and scope or a benefit this is going to offer for all the stakeholders. This is very, very important exercise, or I would say it is a very, very important initial exercise an institution has to do if you are actually trying to go for a change. What is that a benefit which we are going to get? So as if you looked at the 7 simple questions, we looked at, okay, what is the outcome which we are going to look at it when I go to create this change. Excellent point. And then we're also talking about, okay, how do we select the members? There are very different inputs which I could see. One is about choosing the senior members. Yes. And another side I could see qualified, who is active and who is enthusiastic about this kind of an accreditation system or maybe any change system. Here again you're talking about expertise, voluntariness. So now what is that very important when you're talking about creation of the core committee members? One hint here, when we implement a change, when you wanted to create this core committee, we also wanted to make sure my core committee members, okay, who are influential, in the institution. Why this is important? Because when you find a most influential person or who has a lot of power or who has a lot of face value in the institution, if he or she becomes a part of this core committee member, most of this persuading exercise is half done. Okay. So when you have this a person who is most influential in the institute or most powerful or having a lot of face value in the institute, being one of the core committee members or maybe driving or leading this particular change, the persuasion or acceptance or bringing down the resistance is already initiated just by pulling or bringing a person who is influential in the institute part of the committee who's going to drive. So this is actually going to reduce half of your trouble of handling this resistance or maybe getting the acceptance from the institutions or from the people of the or maybe from the stakeholders. Then your very interesting point has been noted down. Now I should also introspect my institution to look at what are my strengths, what are my weaks, what are the opportunities. So opportunities where you're already talking about, yes, what are the benefits, what are the scope which we can go for accreditations, or maybe the change which you're looking at through NEP, what do I do? And what are the threats? Now comes when you look at the benefits and scope. Okay, now next one what we are talking about. Okay, if in case I'm not going for an accreditation, what is that I'm going to lose? What is that drawback which I'm going to see? Let's say, for example, maybe people will choose different, student will go for different institutions, or probably the industry or not many employer will be preferring my institutions. So there can be a threat as well if I do not actually go for this change. So that will also kind of send a signal to my stakeholders, because invariably all the faculty members or the stakeholders will be very concerned about if something which is negatively going to impact my institution if I'm not going to implement the change. So that will also accelerate the need. Yes, there is an urgency. Yes, I should actually implement this change. Unless I do not do, I'm going to have a lot of sorry. Okay. So otherwise I'm going to lose these benefits, or probably this is going to be a threat in a long term. I might lose my preferences by the students or maybe employers. So that is important. Then also, of course, reviewing syllabus and all that, very interesting points. Probably I don't know whether I'll be able to hear from the other groups, but if any other points or any one group wanted to just share your perspective here, you can do now. Any other points which are interesting, things which are not discussed, any other group have, I'll be happy to listen from the group members. Anyone? Okay, fine. So now the idea.
So 1 minute.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry. Is this what you actually expected us to do? Have we met your expectation?
So most of you are able to at least address some of the challenges, and I'm going to I was very happy about the kind of discussions happened and the inputs are coming from. I think 50% most of you are able to are satisfying, or maybe in alignment with how the implementation of the change should happen. So if I put it in that way, so more than 50% I would say we are able to align with how the change has to be implemented. And we are also going to discuss what are these 8 there are reporters have proposed, there are 8 steps of change process. So the idea of this exercise itself is to make yourself think through how will you implement if you are a boss or a leader in an institutions. So I think most of you are able to give me maximum of the inputs. So we're going to see some of them which are not actually touched upon. Okay. Yeah. So humble request for others who are not speaking, please mute yourself. I could get some disturbances from the others. Okay. Yeah, fine. So, okay. Any other points if anybody wanted to add here?
Sir, sustainability of the change.
Great. Okay. Sustainability as a change. In what way you're trying to say, sir? So is it specific?
Sir,
is it general you're saying, or is it to the specific case we are discussing?
No. Actually, sir, all these accreditation processes are
Yes.
for a certain period.
Yes.
Once that
yes.
period is over,
Mhm.
then again we have to go in for the accreditation. So that process should be sustained actually.
Exactly. Great. Yeah, I could definitely agree with you, because when you're talking about creation of the system, when you're talking about a sustainability, we are only talking about creation of the system and developing the system robust. So why this is important? Because when you create a system and developing the system robust, it will actually take care of how are you going to sustain. Because unless otherwise you do not create a systemic practices. If you look at any accreditations or any changes, for example, even NEP, what are you trying to create? Is it about systematic changes which you are looking at it? The moment you are created systematic changes in your institutions, it will become internalization will automatically happen. So internalization or institutionalizations will happen. So this will become a key for sustaining the change. When you're able to create a system and create this internalization or institutionalization of the particular system, that will actually address the concern of sustainability. Now, how are we going to sustain this kind of continue to bring changes in the way institution been carrying, or maybe introducing new program, or coming up with innovative way of maybe pedagogical innovations, or maybe the other hybrid way of coming up with introducing new programs or systems. That is going to happen when you're able to create a system, developing the robust system, and also internalization and institutionalization will be key for sustainability. So thank you for that input, sir. Yeah. Okay. So having discussed all this, we are going to see some of the key points of how this change management will happen. So now all of you have discussed. If you look at I have purposefully created this case in a way that giving these challenges, so that this is going to map with this 8-step process of change management. And probably it is 3:35. I think it will. I will just begin with the first one, and I'm going to continue the change management implementation tomorrow as well. So I'll just talk about the first one. The first step for the change management is establishing a sense of urgency. So what I was very happy is that most of you were actually talking about in a different way, where one of you are talking about as a benefit, talking about a benefit. Some of you are talking about a need and scope. Some of you are talking about as awareness creation, right? So what is that initial step that is important to create the tension in the sense, yes, we need to go for a change, where we see that now you have to establish a sense of urgency that yes, the change which we are talking about is very critical, and if you're failing to do so, we are going to lose a bigger opportunity, meaning that now we are going to lose the opportunity, or it will be a threat for us. If we do not do, it will be a threat for us. I'm not talking about cohesive threat from the institutions, or probably from a government. I'm not talking about it. But how do you create any change? I'm not talking about a larger NEP. I'm just repeating it again, because NEP has a large thing. There are so many things. But what I'm saying, you always look at, you will keep implementing with the smaller changes in the institution that will overall impact it. So I am just keeping this one particular thing in mind. It can be, any other changes. So even the small change which you are talking about, or a sub change which you wanted to implement, how do you create it? No, you have to establish a sense of urgency. Yes, this change has a lot of benefit. So urgency can benefit created by multiple ways. One is by saying that yes, this has a lot of benefits. It has a lot of scope. You have more opportunities by doing this change. Or otherwise, it can also be other side. There is a threat. If you do not do so, you are going to lose your institutional branding exercise, or maybe over the period your placement will go down. This way also you will create a sense of urgency. So for the change management, the first exercise or a first activity has to happen in an institution is that you have to establish a sense of urgency. How do? You have to examine the environment and competitive realities, meaning that okay, I want to see, I am an institution existing in a larger system. Okay, I am an institution, right? I am an institution here. So, but I exist in a larger system. I'm trying to examine okay, if I'm not going to implement this change, or if I implement this, what is that happening in around me? So you have to examine. Sorry, any questions? Okay, so you have to examine the environment and competitive realities. Okay, what will happen in case if I do not implement this thing? So this will actually create a sense of urgency among the stakeholders. Yes, this change is very, very critical, and it is vital for my organization to sustain, survive, and excel. So these three, yes, will create this urgency, right? Sustain, survive, and excel also, right? Then you also identify, discuss the crisis. What are the potential crises? What are the opportunities? As I said, right? So you are all talking about rightly said benefits or need and scope. Maybe what will happen if I do not do. And as sir was saying about SWOT analysis, yes. So what will happen for my opportunity and threat? I'm talking about this or probably this part. So I'm not concerned about, yes, my strength can be tapped for implementing the change so quickly, but I'm also concerned about my weakness. I'm also concerned about what is the opportunity. I'm also concerned about my threat. So this will actually create the sense of urgency to implement the change. So the first step of the change management is to create a sense of urgency, so that you are going to accelerate that importance of change in an institution. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll stop here. We are going to continue this tomorrow. I'm going to have my session from 11 o'clock. So thank you so much for your participation. If any questions on whatever been discussed so far on today's concept, so I'll be happy to take up the questions now. Any questions on maybe your thought processes? Because as I said, we're all colleagues. So you also have a lot of insights to offer. If any questions, any thought process, if you wanted to share and add, you can add here. So otherwise, we'll close now and then we'll continue tomorrow.
Thank you, sir, for the interactive and insightful session. And I request all the participants to join the discussion and ask questions. They can either raise hands or post questions in WhatsApp group.
Okay, if there are no more questions or any discussions, we will anyway. I really enjoyed these discussions. Many were actively participating. I'm very happy. So I will continue this tomorrow as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
We enjoyed your lecture, sir. Indrani will just sum up.
Yes,
And participants will stay for 5 minutes with us after the session. Indrani, please.
Yes, yes, sir. So I thank all the participants for their active participation, and I extend my gratitude to the resource person, Dr. S. Srinivas, for sharing his graceful words. All the participants are inspired by your highly sparkling words. Thank you for being part of this program. We are overwhelmed with your presence, and it's an honor to have you among us. I extend my gratitude for sharing your graceful words with us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Indrani. So you can, reserve this for tomorrow. So I'm going to come tomorrow as well.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes.
So I'm very happy the way systematically organized. So my appreciations to all the organizers, technical team, Vivek and others who is behind this this program. So very happy to see such a programs with I generally with a large number of other participants. Handling your students are different, people, but a faculty member from different parts of the country and coordinating and bringing them in platform is excellent. So my wishes and congratulations to the team.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. So I will leave now. So I will meet all of you tomorrow. So have a good evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Dear participants, today is our tomorrow is our last day actually. So 2 sessions will be there, as I have already